everyone. Welcome to another episode of Dr. Tashambi Speaks. I am Dr. Tashambi. Today we are going to talk about something very, very interesting. And according to research, at least 50% of you have experienced this. Oh yes, I'm going to talk about it. Bullying. Let's talk about the bullying. Some of you have been working in your jobs long enough where you have experienced someone who has been taking advantage of you. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to say. You're trying to fit in. They look like they kind of run the show, even though you know you have a manager and a clinical coordinator, and in some cases a preceptor. So you're trying to figure out, who is this person that's trying to tell me what to do, and they don't have any authority. And guess what? You are afraid of them. Bullying. A lot of people think bullying is that little kid that steals your sandwich at lunch and refuses to give it back to you, or might even try to have you hemmed up on the playground because they took your sandwich and you're afraid to get it back. But unfortunately, that little kid that took your sandwich sometimes grows up and that person becomes a nurse. And guess what? You might be working with them. So, what do you do when you work on a unit and you have someone that's bullying you? First of all, you have to be able to identify it. What does bullying look like? Sometimes they might dump on you. If somebody has to get 7 patients, you always end up with the extra patient. You always end up with the patient that's the sickest, the patient that always needs to go to the unit. You're calling rapid while they're hiding their discharges. You have 7 and they really have 5 because they didn't take their discharge off the board. All of those things fall under bullying. They may not include you in conversations when they're talking to people on a nursing unit. They may tell your business if you're one of those people that overshare. Remember, we talked about that in previous videos. You really want to try and keep your business to yourself because bullies are predators. And predators sometimes can seek you out, and they know how far they can go with you based on what you have been talking about in the break room, about what you let your family members, maybe your significant other, do to you in your private life. So they've already sought you out and they know what they can get away with. So you have to be very careful about that. Now, there's really a zero tolerance for bullying in the work environment. But what has to happen, the manager's hands are tied, human resources hands are tied if you are not willing to come forward. Most of the time, nurses leave. Bullies cause high turnover rates in hospitals. Most of the time, nurses call in when they find out that their bully is working on a particular day. There are a lot of nurses who are ill. They have hypertension, stress conditions, anxiety, because they are literally afraid to work with the bully. And these things cost the hospital lots of money. Think about it. If you call in every time your bully is working, that means that you're going to be in poor attendance problems. You're going to be an attendance problem employee, probably at risk of being terminated. And when they terminate you, then they have to hire someone else to fill your spot. So it's a repetitive cycle. So the cycle has to be broken. And like I said earlier, first you have to identify it. You have to get the courage to do something about it. That is, if you want to continue on the unit. So you need to write down occurrences. And after you've logged those occurrences, take those occurrences to the nurse manager. If you have a manager who doesn't deal with the problem, you unfortunately do have to go over your manager's head, go to your manager's director, say something to your director, and if you don't get anywhere, then you have to go to HR. That is if you want to continue to stay. When you go to human resources, depending on where that person is that's bullying you in the discipline queue, they could be written up. And if they are far along in the discipline process, they could even be terminated. Most of the time, what I see is that people just don't want to deal with it. The bully continues to bully people for decades, and people just leave. But I do want you to know that you do have an option. You can report them. If you want to stand your ground and report them, human resources, hospitals have policies in place for that type of behavior. And one of the main reasons why they have it in place is because bullying really is a crime. It is a crime to bully people, but you have to be willing to pursue them. You have to be willing to write down dates and times and occurrences. The accredited bodies, the American College of Nurses, they have a problem with bullying. They have a zero tolerance when it comes to bullying, and the hospitals know this is their position. And when we say zero tolerance, it's important because there are poor patient outcomes that can occur when bullying occurs. Can you imagine taking care of 6 patients who are really ill and the bully only has 5? And you're not able to do your job to your maximum because they're bullying you. They won't be a team player. They won't assist you. You put the call light on for help and they don't come. Patients' lives are at risk when bullies are permitted to just run through the unit and do whatever they want to do, and people are afraid of them. So I just want you to know that there is recourse. Some people endure it. Some people allow it to stress them out. Some people allow it to run them out. But I do want you to know that you have a right to stand up for yourself. And the way you do it is by recording events, reporting it to nursing leadership, and going to human resources. And I just want you to know those are your options. So for those of you who are being bullied, why don't you think about talking to someone on your unit that is trustworthy? You can pull up your hospital policies associated with bullying, but just know you have a right to be there just as much as the bully is there. Thank you. Now, follow me on Instagram at Dr. Tashambi Speaks. And I have exciting news. I finished writing my book. It's been copyrighted. The title of the book is called Zoe's Secrets. I'll be giving you information in the future about where you can obtain a copy of my first book. You can also contact me if you need coaching on mynursementor.org. So there are a lot of things that are going on. If you have questions, please send your questions to me and I will address your questions the same way I addressed this question today about bullying. Thank you, and just know you have a right to work where you want to work, and the bully does not have authority over you. But what I need you to do is stand up for yourself. Thank you.